Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOC-DALI. So this is kind of interesting. I think there's a lot of confusion over when somebody needs to get an attorney as it pertains to their medical care and whether it's an accident or workers' comp and when don't they. And many people feel that the doctor does not want an attorney around, that doctors and attorneys, it's like kryptonite or oil and water. And I never understood the whole legal process until patients would come in saying my insurance isn't paying for the medical care. They won't pay for the MRI. And I'm like, why aren't they going to pay for the MRI? You have a neck issue. You have a back issue. I need to order the MRI. That's medical. And they would say, but no, it was because of an accident. And the insurance says the accident had to pay for it. Now, many people feel that Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, solved that problem. It didn't. The Affordable Care Act, what it did solve is, let's say you have asthma and you switch insurances. Now you have new insurance and you come to the doctor for asthma treatment. That insurance company can't say, well, sorry, it's pre-existing. You had it before you signed up with us, so sorry. They can't do that. They still have to cover your asthma. But a pre-existing medical issue does not equate to an issue that might be related to an accident or something that's workers' comp. And insurance companies do not want to cover something that another entity should. And so I've had many patients who didn't report their work accident, or they didn't, claim anything when they had, a lot of us will fall and we're like, well, I'm not going to call a lawyer for that, whatever. And then all of a sudden we have issues. And because the doctor documented where it happened, because they needed to, now insurance is like, but that was an accident. There's somebody else who's responsible for that, not us. Insurances are very good at figuring out how not to pay. So many of you have heard that Legal Help Center ad that I have on my show. These guys, they have legal professionals, and I believe they could take your call at any time. And they can give you some advice over the phone for free, because I know it's very intimidating. There's a lot of attorneys. There's a lot of good attorneys in my neck of the woods, but who do you call? And then do you get paid for do you have to, pay for the consult? And then, what? So when I met Legal Help Center, I'm like, look, I like the idea that somebody could call, they could get their questions answered for free and see if there's something that they need to pursue or need to protect themselves in case their medical insurance doesn't cover it. And so the number is 800-710-5100. 1-800-710-5100. And it's not that I'm doing a commercial for them. It's, for those of you that are struggling, I can't tell you how many people have a finger that was broken and that never healed right. And, now what do you do? And most insurances should, if it's been that many years, come in and start, and help repair things. But I have seen time and time again, patients not get coverage. And sometimes the insurance is wrong. But you need an attorney to say, excuse me, this is on you. You do need to help pay for this. So the Legal Help Center is 1-800-710-5100, 1-800-710-5100. Let me know how it goes. Let me know, when you do talk to somebody, whether it's an accident, car accident, slip and fall, issue at work. Let me know, because I see the other end where people have an issue and now they're struggling medically and they can't get accommodations at work. They can't get coverage. And, there's this attitude that I've been seeing, maybe because of cartoons and all that, the whole ambulance chasing stigma of, well, if you get a lawyer, these lawyers are going to be just trying to find ways to make money. And trust you, I've seen divorce lawyers, and I've seen, not personally, but I've seen how some of those stigmas are perpetuated and why they are. But from a doctor's standpoint, when I see somebody got hurt on the job or got hurt in a car accident and said, I did that same thing, I blew it off. I'm like, I don't have time to meet with an attorney. I don't, and then all of a sudden you have issues and you're like, well, wait, now what do? I don't have the extra money. I can't get the time off. And so compensation allows you to still be able to function, feed your family, cover expenses or modifications that you need if the accident wasn't your fault. And I understand there's some people that'll, what was it? I think it was on Modern Family. Somebody pretended to get hurt at somebody's house and these pretend slip and falls. Usually attorneys, can help you, help understand what is a case that really needs attention. And I don't necessarily get involved with the compensation part of it, but I'm worried about the medical part of it. And when I see a patient panic about getting something done, whether it's an MRI or an X-ray or physical therapy, this is also a biggie. People will avoid physical therapy because of the cost. Well, if the accident's not your fault, physical therapy is so valuable in terms of your recuperating that I don't want you not recuperating. You know how many knee replacements are not successful, not because of the surgeon, but because people didn't go and do the physical therapy. So maybe talk to these legal experts at Legal Help Center. Again, 1-800-710-5100, 1-800-710-5100. See what advice they give you. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know, how good it was. And then, understand that, your health comes first. Okay. Don't worry about the stigma. Nobody's going to call you names. If you sustained an accident and you have medical issues, you getting the medical attention first is what I care about. And yes, it does take money, and I get that. And so that's what, your legal help helps you do. But what Legal Help Center is doing is looking at the issue that you have, providing some advice, and then you do what you want with it. So 1-800-710-5100, 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator.
Stiction, that sticky friction, undermines the performance of diesel engines. Third-party ASTM testing verifies that Stiction Eliminator removes 2 times as much stiction than any alternative on the retail shelf. Stiction Eliminator is formulated to be left in the engine oil. It works as you drive.
Available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dali, 1-877 DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer. And big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So I was asked about a week ago about any tips I would have for the kids accepting the new wife. And this is something we've talked about on this show. You remarry, and there's a new husband, new wife, new spouse, new partner. You're dating somebody. What to do with the kids if they're rejecting that person? And the first thing I have to say is it is 1,000% expected. All right, people are like, oh no, my kids love me and they don't like who I'm dating or who I'm with. Not a shock and not uncommon. It's very natural for family members to reject somebody new into their new circle. So you're not alone. Okay, it happens. And there might be the possibility that your children or brothers or sisters or whatever may never accept the new husband, the new wife, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, new partner. But there are some things you could do. And one is realize, be realistic about the situation. And I get from one of my listeners how frustrated they are, going, I don't understand. They're perfect in every way. I love them. My kids should show respect. Everybody should be respectful to everybody. But no, there is no reason why your family needs to be in love with somebody that you're in love with. That's, just like we spoke about with politics, just because you feel one way politically doesn't mean everybody else in the family has to follow through. We're all individuals. We all celebrate our religion differently. Our relationship with God can differ. I like dark meat with my turkey on Thanksgiving, which helps because a lot of people in my family like the white meat. I'll then eat the dark meat. So there's ways to still be compatible. But the first thing you need to do if you are struggling to bring in a new addition to the family is, one, understand that this isn't going to be taken very lightly. I mean, I have my kids and my husband and all that. And, I'll always joke with them about how, if they were my roommate in college, I would kick their butts out. There's no way I would live with them in college. You would be the worst roommate. But I'm able to live with them because, they're, They're my progeny. They're my blood. And when you have somebody in the family, that blood is thicker than water, it's really hard to have somebody else in the household, whether you're living in the household or not. And you have to understand the family member's perspective. So let's say that child went through something, okay, and went through something very embarrassing to them. Now there's this stranger that's going to be privy to that. Now that your child is sharing you and sharing your time and sharing your attention and maybe also sharing your inheritance. So you need to kind of understand what it is their concerns are. Is it that it's really hard to warm up to another person? And then understand that and let them know. Say, I know how difficult it is to all of a sudden like somebody new. If you told me I had to love this person, and this is why in-laws have issues. I am so, so grateful that I love my son's girlfriend, and I love my kids' friends. And so, to me, they all could be my babies. I will adopt all of them. I love them all. But, imagine if, your child brought home somebody that you couldn't stand. But they love that person. Okay? You got to figure out how to make it work. So it's not going to be easy. Living with somebody. Look at how many couples can't live with each other. Living with somebody and you don't even have a vested interest in them because you're not dating them. Somebody else is not very easy. So understand that. And if you still can't comprehend, imagine you being roommates with somebody and their girlfriend or boyfriend is always over, always on the TV, Netflix, whatever, not paying rent. And you have to basically now live with somebody you never signed up to live with. All right. Now, if this person is important to you, all right, that is something you do need to extend to them. And your family should respect that person. Nobody should be disrespecting somebody else. And if there is somebody that loves you, and if your kids don't understand that you found happiness, this is somebody you want to be with, this is, then that's on them. And oftentimes they will come around. Knowing that that person is making you happy, knowing that, the previous relationship might not have necessarily, made it to fruition or, then, they'll, or, till death do you part, when they do see that you are happy, if they really love you, that'll start to come into play. But you have to make sure the kids know that there are not any ridiculous expectations. They don't have to hug him if they don't want to. They don't have to kiss him. They don't have to call them dad or mom. They don't have to do things they're uncomfortable with. Give those kids that space because the more you force, the more they hate. Now, if you are the new person in the family, now I haven't been in this situation because I'm married and I hope I'm never in this situation. But if I was, I would immediately establish. Like, let's say Jimmy Garoppolo says, you know what, Daliah, you're the one for me. And your husband left you, so you and I'm not saying this is a fantasy I have, but let's just say hypothetically that happens. And let's say Jimmy Garoppolo had a couple kids. I would go in there and I would say, look, I would be as non-parental, non-authoritative, and I would let them know I love your dad, especially shirtless. And I wouldn't say that. But anyway, but I would, convey to them and say, look, I know this isn't easy. I'm not here to replace your mom, dad, whatever. I know this isn't easy. I am here for your mother or your father. And I'm here for you when you're ready. And if you ever want to be. If you never want, that's fine. And however you want this relationship to be, I'll honor it. But, I want you to know I really, really care about your parent. And I feel I'm the luckiest person alive that your parent wants to spend their life with me. And I, and just let it be slow. Let it work itself out. The first few holidays might not be ideal, but remember, you're going for the long game. And if things don't happen first quarter, there's still more quarters. Sorry, I'm getting ready for football. Cowboys play tonight. Woo! So, it's not easy. But the expectations are, and, I understand my listener was really frustrated. He's like, if my kids love me, they will not entirely. And also sometimes you're not that easy to live with, or to have to, come around and look, just think of the in-law situation. You could really, really love your spouse, but the in-laws could be driving you crazy. People drive each other crazy. I was talking to my sons about being roommates and considering, would they do that or what? And it's interesting. They both would rather be roommates with each other, than with strangers. I mean, I lived with strangers. I just needed to share the rent. Whoever would help pay the rent or for me to rent a room. And I was never home, so it worked out fine. But if, it really takes a lot of chemistry to be able to have that sort of closeness. And I have to tell you, I have seen so many families where the extended or the new wife or new spouse or new boyfriend, girlfriend, and by the way, that's also an issue. That's another thing to think about, too. If you are one of a long line of guys that mom has brought home or women that dad has brought home, the kids aren't going to attach to you. There is, they won't, or if they think you're in it for the money. And so you just have to understand what they might be thinking. And also, you do have some people that they just don't like people, and it just might never happen. I mean, we have blood relatives where they just don't like each other. That just happens. So it's not easy. I want to see people happy. I want to see, relationships work through. But divorce is still at an all-time high. It's been going down because fewer people are getting married. But relationships break up. And, for a child to expect their love, or a spouse may die. And that's also a very common scenario where one of the parents dies. And then the new, the surviving parent, the widow or widower, wants to remarry and, not be alone. That's another thing, too. You need to explain to the kids. And, you could say, look, I don't want to be alone and I don't want to be a burden on you. Now, you don't want to have to entertain me and keep me from being bored and take care of me day in and day out. This helps you. And they'll go, oh, no, of course it would. And look, I don't want to be a burden on you. Yeah. And I want to, be happy. I'm not doing this to alter the memory of your father or alter the memory of your mother. This isn't about that. I love them. I will always love them. But I'm alone and I don't want to be alone. And give it time. It might take a few years, but a lot of times, if your children love you, they'll come around. 1-877-Daliah.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
in many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Doc-Dali, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So this is interesting. Somebody had asked me last year, and I never addressed this email, so I want to address it now. How do you stop somebody from accusing you of being PMS'd? Whether it's your spouse, co-workers, friends, family members, your kids. Mom's having a period again. Oh, she must be on the rag. How do you get people to stop accusing you of that? Well, it's kind of not simple. Because the first thing we need to do, if we as women don't want to be accused of PMSing, is to stop using it as an excuse. I can't tell you how many times I still, in this day and age, and it's flipping 2024, I'll have somebody say, yeah, well, I was on my period. So I just didn't want to handle anything like that. Or, I called out. Or, I snapped back at somebody and, I told them I was on my period. Okay. We are never, as women, going to be able to progress and get out of the PMS stereotype that keeps being thrown at us if we don't stop using it and wielding it every time we do something. I don't really think I have ever, now I'm sure some of my friends in medical school might disagree, but I'm trying to think. I don't ever remember blaming my period for any actions I've done. Because maybe it's because I don't blame myself. I just blame, if you were a jerk and I told you off, it's because you're kind of a jerk. But I'm usually not very confrontational. I kind of really like to just, make sure everybody's kind of getting along, and I just want everybody to make up and be happy. But, if I, do call somebody an idiot or whatever, it's because they're being an idiot. I don't think it has anything to do with uterus lining or my hormones. If you're an idiot, you're an idiot. So, number one, women, stop that. If you're not wanting to do something at work, if you're wanting to call out, if you are ripping somebody a new one and then thinking, you know what, I'm sorry, I was on my period, then of course, when you have erratic behavior or if you act inappropriately, somebody is going to think, well, okay, maybe it's because it was your period. Now, if you are having a horrible migraine and you get migraines on your period, now, I mean, whether you want to tell everybody you're on your period or not, but I mean, if you're in pain, you're in pain. You're having a horrible migraine. I don't feel good when I have a migraine. So that's okay. Doesn't mean you should yell at somebody. If you need to call out, okay, well, you're having a headache. But we got to maybe kind of stop this. Well, I'm PMSing. If you are having very heavy periods, I remember I was falling into walls. I would lose so much blood. And my doctor's like, forget this. We're going to put in an IUD. And I was trying to see patients and I was just so weak. Okay. You might need to call out. That's not, but the PMSing has taken this sort of turn where rather than it being a syndrome that encompasses a lot of changes that can happen monthly because your body was expecting a pregnancy. You didn't get pregnant, so now it's sloughing off, and your hormones are going through a cycle. And some of these hormones, the side effects could be acne, could be bloating, could be tension headaches, could be poor sleep, could be some mood issues. We've used that as this card, as it's really gone in the wrong direction. Now, when you do see family members, and I caught my husband doing this a couple times. Never did it again. I stopped that cold. I was upset at him. I remember what happened. He left soggy bread in the sink. And it wasn't my turn to do the dishes. It was going to be his, and I want to teach him that you leave bread, you don't throw, if you aren't going to throw the bread in the garbage, then if it's going to sog in the sink and get mold and stuff, you're the one that's going to have to clean it. But I didn't say that. I'm not very confrontational. I'll just let the bread sit. So he doesn't do anything about it. And I come home, I post call or something like that. And I'm like, why the hell is there bread in the sink? There's no excuse for that. Are you on your period? And I go, you know what? I should be pissed off about this. 30 days a month. I didn't yell at you the last 28, 29 days for this sort of behavior because I don't want to do that. But this is day 30. Whether I'm on my period or not the point. It's today's the day that I'm going to tell you this sucks. And this behavior doesn't stand. By the time I got done, it was a little louder than that. He never accused me of having my period when I would bring something up. But I've talked about that on air. If I don't bring it up, that's my fault. If I'm only bringing stuff up my period week, which I don't get anymore, hallelujah. But I mean, if I'm only bringing stuff up, then that's my fault. I should have been complaining about it 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But I don't do that. I wait until it gets on my last nerve. It might happen to come on my period when maybe my serotonin is a little lower, my estrogen is lower, my progesterone is about to drop because your progesterone builds up because it's expecting a baby there. There's no baby, and then it drops, so you slough and have your period. But, if you have a family member that is saying, oh, you're PMSing. As a doctor, though, I want to, make sure I'm not missing something medical going on. So I would, if I was that family's counselor or their physician, I'd be like, okay, why are you saying that? No judging. Why are you saying that she must be on her period or PMSing? Well, because she's mad. She's grumpy. She's yelling at me. She usually doesn't mind this. I think she's having an exaggerated response. Okay, well, then that's something different. There might be somebody that has bipolar or has low serotonin, or maybe they're in pain. Why are you yelling? What made you decide to yell about this today than another day? I don't feel good. Now, why don't you feel good? I'm having horrible cramps. I'm in so much pain. Well, then let's address that. People have used PMS as well. It's in her head, and she's just wacky because she's on her period. But some of these women are struggling with painful, wanting to pull your eyes out cramps that are so flippin' uncomfortable that they're really not going to tolerate your crap, okay? Yeah, I might be able to tolerate it on a day when I'm feeling good. Maybe your jokes are semi-funny, but if your joke's not funny, I'm telling you, it's not funny because I'm in pain, because I'm not feeling good, because I soaked through a pad and my underwear, and I had to walk around with my purse covering my butt all day, and now I have a I have muscle strain and possibly a rotator cuff injury because I was in external rotation for 20 hours of the day. So, yeah, I'm not going to be putting up with your crap right now. My next recommendation is to have a conversation and go, what's making you say that? Well, it's because you snapped at me. Now, was that snapping justifiable? If it wasn't, you might need to check yourself. A lot of us will be very snappy with our spouses. Now, I try not to be, because then my husband gets snappy back, and then he'll be snappy for an hour, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Never mind. It's not worth it. I'll just take a deep breath. I'll just get really quiet, and I'll speak really low. Like if I've told him something millions of times, right? And he doesn't get it, I'll be like, okay, no bread in the sink. Or because if I snap, quit by the friend of the dick. 1-877 Doc Daliah, don't go away.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, guys. Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Diesel fuel cetane levels.
the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Product claims without proof.
every trucker on the road has heard product claims about an additive that simply didn't match their experience. Proof is found from third-party testing by a recognized, credible source. That's proof. Hot Shot Secret's Stiction Eliminator will improve your performance and fuel economy. For proof, we engaged the Ohio State University Center of Automotive Research to conduct an EPA-certified fuel economy test with Stiction Eliminator on a FedEx truck, a 2006 P500 Freightliner with 247,000 miles. The test showed a 3.6% increase in highway driving fuel economy from Stiction Eliminator, an oil additive. The complete report from OSU is available for download at hotshotsecret.com. That's proof.
Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. 1-877 Doc Dali, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So we were making huge progress in terms of smoking cessation, and then we got a little bit of a kind of a lull in that when COVID hit, and we still have millions of Americans who smoke and are at risk for one of the most common cancers in the world. Lung cancer causes more deaths than any other cancer in the U.S., accounting for 1 in 4 cancer deaths. So we still have a lot of work to do. I am very excited to have Dr. Louis Godoy back. He is an assistant professor in general thoracic surgery at UC Davis Health. He specializes in lung cancer surgery and patient care, special interest in minimally invasive thoracic surgery. And Dr. Godoy's research involves surgical quality improvement, surgical outcomes, clinical oncology trials, and addressing healthcare disparities in thoracic oncology. So who better than to come and join us to talk to us about lung cancer and what are some of the latest in terms of treatments and opportunities for people. Dr. Godoy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Daliah. It's a pleasure to be back on your show.
Wonderful. We really appreciate you and glad you have the time to come back on. So Screening for lung cancer. We've made a lot of advancements. We've expanded what insurance can cover. Talk to us about lung cancer screening.
Yes, now the guidelines for lung cancer screening, it's pretty much aimed at high-risk patients. So these patients are the ones that fall within the age range of 50 to 80 years old, someone who either currently smokes or have quit within the past 15 years and have at least what's calculated as a 20-pack-year smoking history. So what that translates into is into someone who smokes like 1 pack per day for 20 years or 2 packs per day for 10 years. So there's a calculation that has to be made to see if you qualify. And so I always advise patients, if they're a current smoker, former smoker, to ask their doctor, can you help me calculate this to see if I qualify for lung cancer screening?
Amen. Amen. And, a lot of people remember their relatives and what they went through with lung cancer, but we have so many more advancements now. And the general public isn't aware that there is so much more we could do. Lung cancer does not always mean death sentence. Talk to us about some of the personalized therapies that are out there. That's
right. There's been a lot of changes. There's a huge shift in the way that we've started or we've continued to treat lung cancer, especially within the last 10 years and more so in the past 5 years. And down the line, there's a lot of clinical trials underway right now that are showing drastic improvement. So, there's advances surgically. So we're doing minimally invasive surgery. People are recovering a lot faster, are able to go home and resume their daily lives sooner. We have a lot of efforts now with personalized therapies. So what we've discovered now is we know now that all cancers are not the same. So what we can do is we can take a biopsy sample from a lung tumor, we can send it to the lab and run a genetic profile on the tumor and identify specific mutations of that cancer in particular. And so we have an arsenal of targeted therapies that are designed to target these mutations in efforts to minimize side effects and enhance the treatment by effectively destroying the cancer cells while preserving and leaving the healthy cells unharmed. Now, this has really, really shifted the lung expectancy, the life expectancy of patients with lung cancer.
I have a lot of patients who say, well, it's too late now to quit. I've already done the damage. And I talk to them about how the lungs are still a very, very brilliant organ and how we see amazing reversals of pathology as it pertains to the heart and lungs, even with 1 week, 1 month of quitting. Talk to us about the smoking cessation and what that does.
Yes, quitting smoking not only has like a profound effect on the lungs themselves, but for your overall general health. That's probably one of the most important things that a person can do to improve their overall health. Now, even for patients, for example, who get diagnosed with lung cancer, if they quit smoking at the time of their diagnosis, we see, there's a paper recently that came out that shows that quitting smoking at the time of diagnosis can extend your lifespan by up to 2 years approximately. So it has drastic effects not only on the lung, but on all of your other organ systems as well.
So what are some of your favorite smoking cessation programs? I know a lot of people pivot to vaping, but I think there's much healthier avenues. What do you suggest to your patients?
Yeah, so we have several quality improvement projects. For example, the American College of Surgeons, we have the Just Ask and Beyond Ask projects that are aimed to increase access to, and this is important, empathetic smoking cessation resources. The reason why I say empathetic is because there's always been a stigma on smoking, and some patients feel, like, oh, this is something that's self-inflicted, I can't approach my provider. So our goal is to provide these resources to patients to help them obtain these practical strategies by creating this welcoming environment to discuss, for the patients to be able to discuss with their provider their goals of pursuing, smoking cessation.
Yeah, and we tell people don't be embarrassed. I understand there's been a lot of quit smoking campaigns, and doctors have been very, very aggressive because we want to save lives. But I think a lot of people do misinterpret the stigma attached. And I understand that many of my patients who smoked, served tours in the military, or struggled with anxiety or a loss or depression. And so it's not just about, stop smoking and don't come back if you smoke. It's, look, we're going to help you transition out and also be there for the reasons that you chose to. I had a woman in my office saying, I could quit smoking anytime. And I go, well, why do you smoke? She goes, well, this is how I keep my weight down. And so we have individuals who struggle with obesity turning to smoking. And so it's our job as doctors to not just say quit smoking, but to also be there to, help you as to the why you're smoking and help you find a safer alternative.
You're 100% correctly. In my practice, I treat a lot of veterans, and back in the days, people got cigarettes in their rations, and this is before the general public knew that smoking caused lung cancer. Right. Now we know that smoking is associated with it, but they didn't know. So it's not their fault that they got hooked on this, on nicotine early on.
Yeah. Any other information you'd like to share in the last minute with my listeners?
Yes, even if you don't smoke, if your loved one smokes, your aunt, uncle, brother, parent, ask them to ask their doctor, encourage them to ask for lung cancer screening. In addition, you can visit the website at the American College of Surgeons. The website is facs.org/lung cancer, and you can see resources that are available, treatment strategies and resources for smoking cessation on our website.
Dr. Godoy, we really appreciate you and all the work the American College of Surgeons do, and thank you for helping raise awareness as November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Anytime. Glad to have you. 1-877-Dr. Dali, 1-877-DOCDALI. Like Dr. Godoy said, do not be afraid. No provider should make you feel bad or stupid or that you did wrong. We understand how things have been. We understand, how people will turn to, smoking or alcohol or food when they're dealing with other things. Let us do our job. All right. And if anybody does make you feel that way, find another physician, because we're in this to help you get better and stay healthy. 1-877-Dr. Dali. Don't go away.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.